shaking her fist, and an eagle will fly, and it's gonna be here. I brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome to Veterans Issues, and we are brought to you by the Red, White, and Blue, and we do not take a knee during the national anthem. Today's guest is Wayne Willis. He's the mayor of Anniston, mayor of Weaver, and he's a retired policeman from the Anniston. We'll get it straight when we come back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. I'm Ken Rollins, and today's guest is Wayne Willis. He's the mayor of the city of Weaver, Alabama, and he's retired from the Anniston Police Department. Welcome to the show, Wayne.
Thank you.
Good to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
It's been
You
that
said
long.
Mayor of Anniston. That
Yeah, I know
scared me
it.
for a
Lord,
minute.
we got phone calls on that one way. That's all right. Keep them coming, ladies and gentlemen. You was on here a while back, and a lot of things have been happening, man. Worldwide, I mean, I could talk national politics with you forever, and but I want to talk about Weaver today. I want to talk about. I got you here. I have not been able to discuss this with you, so I'm just going to ask you here on Weaver. When you first went there, when you first took, well, you was mayor before, wasn't you?
I was.
And then you came out. This last time is what I want to talk about.
Correct.
The last shot at it. I've witnessed a lot of things happening out there, from everything from your law enforcement to you name it, to the city, the growth of the city, the parks, all this stuff. Some of the things that you've been able to put in your belt, so to speak, that you're proud of.
You know, we've had a really good run in Weaver. I'm really proud of my council. They support me, and there's times when we'll have meetings and we'll disagree, but we disagree because we all want what's the best thing for Weaver, which is great for us, because at the end of the day, we all leave as friends, feeling that we compromise and work together, and have actually done some positive for our community, which is what it's all about.
I've not seen anything in the paper about that, where there's been any dissent or whatever, because like you said, I think y'all are working for the same common goal. But what I want to say is where does that, for Wayne Willis, where did that passion come from for you to do that? You could retire from the police department. You love camping. You love the beach. Why are you not on the beach and you're out there just giving of yourself to this stuff? I mean, seriously, I really.
There are times I ask myself that same question. Yeah. Honestly, it's a sense of civic pride, and I came through my entire life as a public servant. Yeah. And that's just my drive.
Well, your dad was too.
My dad was as well. Mm-hmm. He's 40 years in the Army. So it's that commitment to community service and public service that drives me.
Would I be right to say that you get more out of it than you put in it?
I do. It's
I see that with you. Yeah.
It's a feeling of reward to actually see a problem, and then come up with a plan, and then implement that plan, and then see it resolved. And for me, that's a feeling of accomplishment. You know, we built a brand new community meeting center in Weaver. Yeah. And that started out with me sitting at my desk and just drawing on a piece of paper what I thought we'd like to have. And then that went to the architect, and the architect did some drawings, and we came back and forth, and then to actually walk out and see the building there and being used, it's for me, that's the greatest reward.
Now, let me tell you, as somebody from Oxford that watched what you're saying play out, y'all drew it out, and then you got an estimate of the cost. It's going to cost too much. So I saw people from the community out there build that darn thing.
Yes.
Putting the sound system in it. I put the baffles in and all this stuff.
Yeah, that was the problem. There was a lot of reverb in the room with the high ceilings, concrete floor.
Like hello, low, 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 high, yeah.
It was awful. It would echo awful. So I talked to a contractor that was going to put up some sound deadening equipment, and the estimate came in at $7,000. But he made a mistake of showing me how it was made. I went locally and bought the foam and the hardware and materials, and the council members and volunteers, we went out and just made it ourselves. And it works great. And we have less than $300 in the entire project.
And you wasn't just over giving instructions. You were nailing and drilling just like everybody else.
Absolutely.
I saw that. Yeah, that's what I said. But I kind of knew that from your dad, you got some of this community service, but people don't realize, I also see, there's Wayne in that convertible in the parade waving. Right. But at least they're not throwing tomatoes at you. They're all over, hey, Wayne, hey, Mayor,
No, I hope people in Weaver are happy with me. I'm getting a lot of positive input, and a lot of positive input from outside of Weaver as well. People that know the way it was, and now they see the things that we've done, and I'm very proud of the fact we've done some really great things in Weaver.
Well,
And there's more to come.
you're involved in the chamber and economic development, all the things that have inside and outside of the city, which says, you know, but you have a chance that you've restored an old motorcycle, brought that thing up from, I said, he'll never get that thing put back together.
My wife said that too.
But I saw it disassembled, and I said, there is no way he's going to get that. But not only that, it's a show out of it. But it is the jump starting, the kick starting you had to do out there the other day from Nick Bowles, and that was bad, wasn't it? You don't never want to go over twice to have to do that. But
yeah, we have a good time.
you do, and I won't talk about the Dancing with the Stars and all that stuff, our stars. But you enjoy life. You enjoy the giving to the people, and watch their response back. Their appreciation, because the people out there from the park, let's talk about that. I remember when the park was just, you glance over, now it's a park. You got all kind of stuff going on out there.
And you know, the funny thing about it is generally people don't like change.
Right.
They want to keep it just the way it is. So when I started describing the things I wanted to do in the park, I caught a lot of resistance from it and a lot of pushback, but I kept selling it and telling them how good it was going to look and showing drawings, and the more it started to happen, and then they said, well, you know, that looks pretty good. They started to get more behind me. So, you know, we've got more improvements coming, but it's been a long way getting here, and we still got a ways to go, but we're going to keep pushing.
But the walking trails, that got a connection to that too, or
It
is that
does.
in the same?
It's, the trail circles the park, but it also has a connection to the Chief Ladaga Trail.
Okay, that connects to the Chief Ladaga.
It does.
Okay. That's great, because a lot of people, unlike me, can still walk. I can ride a chair. I can ride around there and if I need to. But now that was something I've seen. I've seen the widening of the road out there. All the thing that went on for years. It was just, I mean, it was just a thorn in people's side. And anytime you have construction, you know there's going to be people sitting back. But the other side of that is not to have it and have what the condition of the road was before you got
Right.
that done.
Yeah, and you know, I don't think anyone realizes how bad a shape Weaver was in when I took over. I didn't until I got in the office. That Weaver was on the verge of bankruptcy. It was struggling, and it was a real battle to get us back on our feet. And it took some very progressive thinking, and we're moving in the right direction. When the rest of the county is seeing flat growth, Weaver was the only one that was showing positive growth. When you look at residential home constructions, we led with record home construction. So we're at the top of the list on all the good lists, and at the bottom on the bad list. So
I watch your school. Everybody's proud to say I'm Weaver. Used to be like, where you from? I'm from Weaver. I'm from Weaver. Now that I'm from Weaver, real loud, and they're proud of it, you know. And I watched it play out, and I said, okay, heroes, and you're looking for revenue for the city. And you took forward the alcohol on Sunday sales. The legislature passed that legislation to allow that. And has that been a benefit to your?
honestly, in terms of revenue, I'm going to say no. The amount was negligible. In terms of DUIs and spousal abuse, that kind of thing, no difference. The one thing it did bring positive is the ability to recruit. When I start talking to businesses and ask them to come to Weaver, Sunday sales is another tool that I can use to sell why it's beneficial for that business to come to Weaver.
Got you. So if it was like a service station that couldn't have it, yeah. All right. So, but we're running out of time. But I wanted to get that out there because it's not just necessarily the revenue that you're looking for, but it's a carrot on the stick.
It's growth.
Yeah.
Anytime you have growth in retail, sales tax is going to go up, and it all ties together.
All right, we'll hold that thought. We got to go to a break. Got to come back. I got news. No, we got some news you can use later, but we're going to come back and talk more with Wayne. I got a lot of things we want to talk about. Got them right here. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. We're talking with Wayne Willis, the mayor of Weaver, and he's also a retired Anniston police officer. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But Wayne, we were talking about improvements in Weaver. The people watching this from out of the community here will not have any idea what I'm going to say, but the one thing that I see has been done to improve the city of Weaver is that old service station being removed. That's eyesore. But for the people that seen it removed, they don't know what you went through to get it removed.
Right.
It wasn't just, hey, go out and take it. No, there was nearly lawsuits and everything else coming.
No, that was a battle.
Yeah.
And regardless of how well your city's doing, a boarded up building right in the middle of the town is a
Right.
stake in the heart.
Absolutely.
Anyone looking to come to your town is going to look at that, and it's going to be a kiss of death. So the first thing we had to do is get rid of the building. The problem was it was owned by, and I won't name them, but it was owned by a nationally owned company, and it was a tax write-off for them. So leaving that building empty was saving them money. They don't care how bad it
Right.
hurts your small town. So we tried several options. We sent them letters, and we even made an offer for the city to buy the property. We made an offer of $100,000 for the building, which is over market value, and they just laughed at us.
Yeah.
So what I did was I kind of, again, thinking outside of the box, I sat down with the city attorney and I said, okay, what can we do to fix this problem? We need an ordinance to address it. And what we came up with is a nuisance ordinance. And the one line that I wanted in that nuisance ordinance was kind of a catch-all, and it said if the condition of your property adversely affects the property values of surrounding properties, you're in violation. So if you've got a boarded up building, that's hurting the value of property around you. That was my leverage. So we sent them a letter basically giving them a deadline to fix it, and if they didn't, we were going to start litigation. And within just a few days, they sent notice they were going to tear it down, and now the lot is cleared. It looks great. Hopefully we can start recruiting some new business to come in, and we're off on our way again.
And even if you don't have that old boarded up, it looked like a crack house sitting
Right,
there.
it cleaned up the lot.
It did, and it was like, but like I said, people see it's gone. They don't know what had to go through to get it gone, and that's what I was watching play out. And I said, you're never going to beat this because these people can own. They can buy Weaver and
It
sell
was
it
tough.
again.
It was tough. I knew I'd be going against a team of lawyers.
Now let's go over to something else. You retired. How many years were you on the police department?
26 years.
Was it all at Anniston?
I did 1 year at Weaver when I first
year.
started under
Okay.
Chief Morrow.
Okay.
And then Anniston hired me, and I spent my entire career with Anniston.
You retired as what, a captain?
A lieutenant,
Lieutenant?
in 2012.
Yeah, that's great. But it's a lot different now, ain't it?
It is. I feel sorry for these young guys coming up. In fact, me and one of the other old timers had a conversation just the other day about this. And the biggest difference that I see for law enforcement is when I was coming up through the ranks, people would resist arrest, but it was a fight to get away. The people that the police are dealing with now, it's a fight to hurt you.
Yeah.
They're not trying to get away. They're trying to hurt the officer. And I really worry about these young officers coming up because it's
Well, see,
scary.
I've had Oxford Police on here, and I've had Anniston. I had Shane Denham on here last week, and the thing about this traveler, these people are sovereign nation type people. They come on and everybody's taking it up when the officer pulls them over. I don't have to show you my license because I'm a traveler. I'm from just like the Indians that says I'm a sovereign
Right.
from you. Your laws don't pertain to me. That's going on nationwide, and I did not know how many has happened right here in Anniston and the area. That these people really believe that. But that driver's license does not belong to you. It belongs to the state of Alabama. So you have to show that. But to be an officer, being challenged like that, people screaming, and everybody's got a camera. I asked about body cameras. Well, Anniston had them for years, but when you pull a car over right now, there's a camera on you. You can rest assured.
Sure.
And so it's not that you don't want to be filmed doing something wrong, but it's just that sometimes the video is misinformed. It don't show the real facts, and so I'd hate to be. That's where the change I'm talking about. When you were there, and I don't remember any of that back in that day.
Right. Yeah, with the internet, everyone thinks they're an attorney now, and they get one little small shred of information and they run with that, and in their mind they believe they're right. Unfortunately, those laws don't always correspond with the real law, and it's scary. It's scary times. I really feel sorry for these young officers. I told my wife the other day, I said, I'm glad I'm getting old because I really don't want to see how this ends.
Yeah.
So it's scary.
Well, you mentioned the social media. The social media is a good thing because Anniston can put up a picture of somebody out there that just robbed a store, the same Oxford and the rest of them, and the social media, somebody, I know them, that's so-and-so, and that helps. That's a great tool, but it's also a bad tool, I remember when Jackie Stovall was shot over here. Social media was saying it was a state trooper was shot and all this stuff real quick, like everything was going out, and that he was here and here and here, but social media spotted him over on Leatherwood Road, and everybody else thought he was toward Weaver and Jacksonville. And so social media played a part in that. So you know, there's good and bad in it, but this thing that people think that they could just. I ask you the same thing I asked Chief Denham when you was growing up. Would you ever push back? I mean, put your hand on a law enforcement officer?
Oh no.
Why?
No. or my dad.
That's what Shane said. Shane said, if I'd have done something like that, I wouldn't have to worry about what they did. I'd worry about what my dad did to me.
Right. It didn't matter when I was a kid growing up. If the police told you to go over there and stand in that corner and don't move, I'd probably still be there right now if they didn't tell me to leave. So, but it was a different generation. We were raised with you respect authority, you respect adults, and if there's something wrong, you deal with it in the proper channels. You don't take it upon yourself. And it's just different society now.
We just solved the problem, folks. You heard that right here on TV 24. That it's in your house. It's called a belt, and it's a dad got to tell that kid you don't do that, and that's where it stopped. So we just solved that problem. Let me ask this. I saw as we've in the green room this morning, the sheriff and them left out the word open carry came up. What's your thoughts on that, just personally?
Okay. I support the Second Amendment 100%. I agree with gun ownership. For me personally, I don't open carry, but it's not because I'm against the law. It's because from a tactical standpoint, which is my entire career, I want to keep my weapons concealed.
Thank you.
You know, when somebody comes into a store and they're going to rob it, they're going to shoot the first person with a gun because they're the threat. So if they don't know that I have a gun, I'm going to comply until I can't comply anymore, and then I'm going to defend myself and my family.
I got the same thing. I got a permit to carry open. I don't do it for the same reason. I'm in a restaurant. I'm in Olive Garden. Somebody's casing the joint. They look around and say, the guy over in that booth right there's got a gun. Let's just take him out first.
Sure.
I'm the first guy that's going to go. I just don't want to. If I had it, like I said, it'll be covered. That's why I have 511 shirts.
Sure.
You can,
Oh, I carry, but you don't know it.
Yeah, you know. I know. That's what I'm saying. That's now let's go back to something else. I'm gonna run out of time here on this stuff, but I watched a long time ago. Not a long time ago. You worked for Dale Jarrett Racing.
Right.
Dale Jarrett Racing. What all did you do out there?
I was a driver for Dale Jarrett Racing. We went all over the country, and we take people for rides and instruct people on how to get around some of these tracks, driving real race cars, and we did several television shows and different things.
You used to drive at the short track too.
I drove. Yeah, that's where I
that's
first
crazy.
learned to drive at the Talladega Short Track.
That is crazy.
Sure did. And I've got a funny story about that. We'll talk about that next time, though.
Yeah, I want to hear that because I've seen some funny stories out there. I've seen them go over the bank, you know.
Oh yeah, I did. Roll 3 times, 2 of them on
my
fire.
goodness. You're crazy, man. Well, I tell you what, I wish you the best in everything you try. I know you're running for a state office. We didn't talk about that today, but I do support you 100% in everything you try to do. I appreciate what you've done for the city of Weaver.
Thank you.
And I know they do too. So come
Thank you.
back anytime.
Thank you.
All right. I got you. They said he's going to
Okay,
come back.
I'm in.
He's going to come back. We'll see you in a little bit. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. I appreciate Wayne coming here and doing the show today. And we could talk for another hour and cover things. He's got a very interesting career and very interesting person. I've been knowing him a long time. He's a good man, and not many of them left out there. Here we go. I want to write this down. That's what I want you to get the pen every week. And what's that pen? That's the Wayne Willis pen. Here's the number. VA hotline is 855-948-2311. 855-948-2311. Saw a fellow in Walmart the other day that thanked me for putting that number out here because he called it and got the information he'd been looking for. He couldn't get out of Montgomery, so keep that thing handy. If you're not a veteran, hold it. You may meet a veteran that needs some help, and that's if you know one that's in trouble, and that is also a place to call for a suicide hotline. It's not the suicide hotline, but it is a place if you know a veteran in trouble. Here's the website I want you to write down. It's all one word, Wounded Warrior Alabama @gmail.com. Wounded Warrior Alabama @gmail.com. 256-458-2715. You know of a veteran out there in need, that this wheelchair ramp, anything that a veteran's trouble. There's a fellow named Ross Winter, a businessman here in the area that started that, and they don't just help wounded warriors. It's to help veterans, and he's a retired veteran's military, so he does good stuff. That's the number for help if you know of a veteran in need. And the Firefighters Memorial, I keep telling you about it. We should be seeing some dirt turned up there real soon. We're going to build out the official firefighter memorial for the state of Alabama in Centennial Memorial Park. Also still need some wheelchairs, power chairs. If you got a power chair you don't need anymore, I have veterans that need those chairs. They don't have a lift to carry it somewhere, but I can get it to them, and they can go up and down their driveway and up and down the streets and visit and check their mail and stuff. So it's a handy item. If you don't have a power chair you don't need anymore, give me a call. I'll come pick it up. The flu fair is September the 29th from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. The flu fair over at the clinic behind Logan's, the VA clinic. For pneumonia shots are available too, so and check your blood pressure, whatever you need to do. It's a flu fair, but they're going to have all that available on the 29th from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I got to remind you about this because it's helped us so much. The law enforcement tag. The law enforcement tag, anyone that's watching the show can get that tag. You don't have to be in law enforcement. But it's got a shield on it and a rose. That's symbolic of those who have given their life in the line of duty. And a small amount of the proceeds from that tag goes to the memorial up in Washington, D.C., but the biggest portion of it goes right here to Anniston, to Centennial Memorial Park, where the Alabama Law Enforcement Memorial is, to help us with that. So consider the law enforcement tag the next time you go to renew your tag. And we still need drivers for the DAV van that takes veterans to the Birmingham VA, and even brings them back. Takes them up there, and you wait on them, they bring you back. And there is a small amount of training to do that. It's volunteer. The DAV van leaves at 6:30 in the morning, goes to the VA over in Birmingham, and comes back that afternoon. So, okay, let's see what else I got. Now I want to talk about the choice card. The choice card has been extended for 6 more months through Congress. Now, it does work, folks. All you got to do is call this number, 205-933-8101, and when the voice starts, press for the operator, ask for the choice program, and you tell them you want a choice card. And you can go to your doctor locally rather than have to go all the way to Birmingham under the choice card. I do it. A lot of other people do it. So get you a choice card. Always pay it forward. And this week, salute's going out to all the men and women that serve in law enforcement. Now, that includes those that sit behind and answer the phones on the calls and the dispatchers or whatever. So that's for them this week. This salute's going out to them. And we'll see you next week on Veterans Issues. Salute.